Hey guys, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome. Today I'll be sharing my April TBR as well as my TBR for the Romanceopoly Readathon. So we're doing a 2-for-1 special. I will be telling you my TBR for the Romanceopolyathon plus my TBR for April in general. I am combining these two TBRs because I don't plan to read a lot in April because April is Camp NaNoWriMo, so most of my focus will be on writing rather than reading, so that's why I'm not going to read a ton in April, and mostly I will be just focusing on the Romanceopolyathon. I initially was not going to do any readathons in April because I wanted to focus on Camp NaNoWriMo, but I definitely did not want to miss out on the Romanceopolyathon. If you don't know, Romanceopoly is a reading challenge that is going on year long. It's a challenge that I think primarily focuses on reading romance books. And if you want to know more about that challenge, I'll leave all the links to it down below, as well as the information to Romanceopolyathon if you want to check that out. So let's just get into my TBR. First, I'll be starting with my TBR for Romanceopolyathon, and then I'll get into the books that I might read throughout the rest of April. So Romanceopoly has 7 challenges, and the goal is to complete the challenges from the Romanceopoly board, which I'll insert the board right here. So there are reading prompts, but mainly you want to focus on the reading challenges that you have yet to complete on your board. So I'm going to follow my board and also apply these reading prompts to these books. So let's get into my first book. The first one I want to read is White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and the first challenge is to read a book with red on the cover. And this book completes the board challenge. The one for that one is to read a book where the main character is not human, so a paranormal book where the main character is not human. The main character in this book is a gargoyle. One of them is a gargoyle, and then like the love interest is either a gargoyle or a demon. I can't remember which is which, but this one is paranormal. It's a Jennifer L. Armentrout book that I have yet to read, so I really want to get to it. The spin-off series to this series is coming out in July. That book is Storm and Fury, so I definitely want to read the original series before I get to the spin-off series, so that's why I want to get to it as soon as possible. So this one is at the top of my TBR for this readathon, also because it's the next board challenge that I have to get to, so I'll definitely be getting to this one. The next challenge is to read a book with abs on the cover. This one's a fun one. I really went hunting for abs on the cover on Goodreads. I'm like, are there abs on the cover? I'm going to consider adding that to my TBR for this readathon. So the one I chose is Rewrite the Stars by Charlie Rose. Obviously the guy has abs, so I counted it. And this one completes the board challenge of a free space. So this one is just like a freebie, which is awesome. So that's why I'm counting it. I have read one book by this author, and that was Stepdaddy Savage. I read that book in February, and I liked it. And I've been hearing a lot of great things about this author duo, and so I want to give this one a try. I've heard such great things about this one, and it sounds really interesting. It sounds really mystical. I think it's kind of like a circus setting, and one key point I know about it is that the guys in this world die when they're like 25 or something like that, so that premise just sounded really intriguing to me, so I really want to pick this one up. The next challenge is to read a book with an illustrated cover. So I chose The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. For my board, this one completes the challenge of to read a fantasy book, and this is a fantasy. It's more of a paranormal, but I think it still counts. I have mentioned before, I have picked up this book before, but I never finished it, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but I got into a reading slump while I was reading it, so I wasn't really giving the book a fair chance because I wasn't enjoying it because I didn't feel like reading. So I've been wanting to give it another try, and now is the perfect time. It's about fairies, and from what I read from it, I read like the first 200 pages, I was really enjoying it. So I'm going to start it over again, and this time I am for sure going to finish it. Next challenge is to read a one-word title. So I chose Wallbanger, and I forgot who this is by. I think it's like Alice Clayton. I think that's the author. On my board, this one completes the challenge to read a foodie romance, and I've heard, at least on Goodreads, that this one has like a chef in it or something, so it qualifies for that challenge. I've had this book on my TBR since like 2015, so it'd be nice to finally get to it. I've heard it's pretty steamy, so I'm really excited for it. Next challenge is to read a new to you author. So I chose Lip by, I really should have wrote the authors down when I was doing this TBR, but it is a new to me author, and on the board this one completes the challenge to read a rock star romance, and I love music. I've mentioned that so much, so I'm really excited to read this one because it has to do with music, it has to do with a rock star. This is a new adult series that I've heard about for a long time, but I've never picked it up. It's always been on my TBR, but just haven't gotten to it yet. So it'll really complete the challenge to read a rock star romance well. So I'm going to try to get to it. Challenge number 6 is to read a book that was recommended by the host. And this one also completes my board challenge to read a thriller. And that one is Till Death by my favorite, Jennifer L. Armentrout. I was really happy to see a JLA book was recommended by the hosts because I'm like, of course I'm going to read that, and it also completes my board challenge, so it's perfect. This one is a thriller. I think it's an adult thriller. I have read one thriller by Jennifer, and that was Don't Look Back, which was a YA thriller, and I feel like she handled thriller really well. I was really into Don't Look Back, so I'm expecting a lot from Till Death, so I hope I like it. And the last challenge is to read a book you already own. And I chose Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. For my board, this one completes the challenge to read a historical fiction. And this one is a historical fiction. It takes place in Victorian London. And this is the second book to Stalking Jack the Ripper, that series. I read Stalking Jack the Ripper twice. I reread it recently to refresh my memory on it before I get to the sequel, and I reread it in December, so it's still been a while. I just need to get to this book already, so this is the perfect opportunity. Instead of Jack the Ripper, this one follows Dracula, so I am very intrigued by it because of that. So that was my TBR for Romanceopolyathon. Now let's just move into the rest of the books that I'm hoping to get to during April, but no guarantee, but I'll still mention them anyway. Maybe Not by Colleen Hoover. This is a novella to Maybe Someday, which I just did a review on, so like have the book somewhere right here. So I really want to get to Maybe Not because I enjoyed Maybe Someday so much, and Maybe Not follows side characters from that book that I'm really interested in, so hopefully I'll get to it this month. Next, I have Lover Awakened by J.R. Ward. This is the third book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I want to continue reading this series, possibly throughout the rest of the year. Probably won't take me that long because there was like 17 or 18 books in this series. It's such a huge series, but I definitely want to keep on reading it. I'm really excited about this one because this one follows, I think, what is my favorite character in the series, which is Sadis. I love him so much. I'm so intrigued by his backstory and his life. I just want to know more about him. So I really, really want to get to this book in April. I'm really going to try to because I'm so looking forward to it. And lastly, I have 2 library books, and because they're library books, I need to get to them ASAP. They are due in a few days, so hopefully I don't have to return them before April comes, but you know, we'll see. If not, then I will try to get to them. The first one is Someday by David Levithan. This is the 3rd book in the Everyday series, and is the sequel to the first book. I have been really looking forward to reading this because Everyday is one of my favorite books of all time, so I've just been putting this one off, but I really do want to read it, so I'm going to try to get to it in April. And then last book I have is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, which is the sequel to Cinder. Did not love Cinder, I've mentioned that, but I am kind of intrigued to pick up Scarlet because Cinder left off on a note that just left me interested. However, I have contemplated so much during March whether or not I want to get to this one, but I've had comments come my way saying that it gets better. So I'm trusting you guys that it gets better, so I'm gonna give it a chance, and hopefully I'll push through the whole thing and end up liking it. So let's see if I get to it in April. I'm really gonna try to. So those were the books that I am hoping to read this month. I keep contemplating whether or not I'm gonna do like my TBR jar, which I mean by going on my TBR on Goodreads and picking a random number through a number generator to see which book comes up. And that book is what I read, add to my TBR for that month. Will I have time to read it? I don't know, but I haven't done a TBR jar, TBR pick in so long, and I really want to. Let's just do it. If I don't get to it, I don't get to it. But I'm just like curious to see what book comes up. So I guess let's just do it. Right now I have exactly 900 books on my TBR. So a lot. But I mean, I'm hoping to get to them all. Unlikely. So I'm going to type in 900 and let's see what book comes up. 553. Okay. Number 553 is 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. This one is a sci-fi, so I'm kind of nervous because sci-fi is like a genre that I'm not typically into, but I've heard so many good things about this book, and also the cover to it is what made me add it to my TBR because I think the cover of it is just so stunning. So I'm going to try to get to it in April. Again, no guarantee because I'm going to be focused on writing, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe I will get to it. Hope I do. So that was my May TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what books you plan to get to in April, and also let me know if you're participating in Romanceopolyathon. What is your TBR? I would love to know. If you liked the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below for more bookish related videos. Also be sure to follow me on social media. Those links will be down in the description box. I upload 2 to 3 times a week, so I'll see you really soon. Bye!